If you have family that's, getting to an age of retirement and, they're not too sure what to do, you want to try and help them as best as you can. I would assume so. I know a lot of us have family members that are approaching that, 60 years old, 70 years old. If you're born in the 80s, your parents are probably approaching the 60s or 70s. If you're born in the 70s, they're probably approaching 70s, 80s. I have parents approaching their 60s, therefore the retirement age is around the corner. However, this thing of what retirement could be considered is vast and wide. Okay, so I think this video would be a good opportunity to kind of expand on what do we mean by retirement. I was brought up to understand retirement to be a process in which you stop needing to do processes. Essentially, you stop working. You start to find a nice house, get a nice convertible vehicle, move to the coast somewhere with your wife, and you live out the remaining of your days playing golf, eating good food, not doing a damn thing. Now, obviously, that means that those last few years of your life, because if you live up until 80s or 90s, there's about 20 to 25 years that are left in there. And I don't think you want to spend 25 years sitting and doing absolutely nothing. So traditionally, 65 years old has always been the norm. But I want to kind of touch on 10 points that could potentially help a family member. So if you're young and you're watching this, be sure to highlight this to them. If you are within those ages of retirement and you're not too sure what you need to do, I hope this video helps you. I believe it could be useful. Let's go over a couple of things. 10 points that I believe could be taken into consideration and why the norm of 65 years old, which has typically been the age around the world for retirement. I know in some countries, I believe where I come from, it's 67 now. And other places higher, other places a little bit lower, depending, I guess, on your net worth. Point number 1, life expectancy. Now, it's 2025. Technology is going through the roof. Therefore, our life expectancy is only going to increase. And there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we should want to do about it. We should want to live as long as we can so that we could see our kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, which is an interesting topic. Not a lot of people actually get to experience their great-grandkids. But with the influx of, life expectancy going to all-time highs with technology, the expectancy is going to push maybe, let's say, 30 years added. Now, one would need to have sufficient funds at that point in time. And in order to accumulate those funds, one would need to be capable, right? I like to believe in the body as being the temple and the workforce, the factory that allows for production, things to get done. So one would need to preserve the factory and the workforce in order to attain those additional 30 years and enjoy them. Now, as much as we can all try and say, well, now I'm tired, I don't really want to do much, I actually would like to stop and I would like to have a relaxation period. That, I think, just comes down to, well, what you want to do at the end of a period of work. If you've worked 30, 40 years in a particular company, which is rare these days, just by the way, you may want to consider that, right? You may want to consider doing something different or keeping yourself healthy in order to do something different in the future should that time come. Number 2, rise in healthcare costs. Healthcare in general is just going to increase as you age. Medical visits will typically also increase, right? So 65 years old, retiring, you may be a little bit out of pocket on that one because you'd probably have to have alternative means in order to sustain yourself for the coming years, right? Obviously, I would assume that people are kept on a long leash medically so that they're not running away. I like this old saying, a patient cured is a customer lost. Now, this is true, for sure, 100%. Now, you don't want to be one of those statistics that the medical companies, insurance companies are banking off of because they know you're going to remain unhealthy. They know you're going to retire at these ages, so they're just going to find other ways to milk all that money, especially if you get a good retirement benefit from work or former work. They will take advantage of that. I know they keep tabs on individuals and the insurance claims that they maintain. So it would be essential to start guiding those family members on health tips. Go for runs, go for walks, stay healthy, work out with each other. That could definitely add some legs to your life so that you don't have to be out of pocket on medical bills. The impact of inflation. So over decades, over the years, inflation would go up and go down. Your purchasing power would also kind of fluctuate like that. Now, it might not be overly substantial to the context of retirement. However, it is essential to make sure that you have some sort of plan in case an adjustment would occur like that, so that during a retirement period, you have a substantial level of purchasing power that doesn't diminish over time, but you are able to support yourself in those periods that you're not working. Unless you start a side hustle, which I believe that is the quintessential process of having an aid retirement, just going to do something new, not stopping to do something completely. Okay. Inadequate savings. Over those periods that you are working, you could have been mismanaging your money. This is now, if you are planning to retire, this is the perfect time to start ensuring that all those buckets of money that you are able to put into place make sense when it's time to need it. So don't go wildly spending. Don't go and buy a house on the beach. Don't go buy that fancy convertible, especially if you're from a middle income family and you just don't have a lot of saved up funds. Put those joys and pleasures to the side so that you are able to make means and make your ends meet properly. Social security considerations. So mentioned earlier, the age of 65 it's going to increase. You're going to have 65, like I said, in South Africa, it's 67 years old, the retirement age, and other places may be extremely high. Now, delayed benefits could be something that could experience right from the monthly incomes that individuals would get, where, sure, in some cases it could provide some more financial security. However, the individual that is at that retirement age, so 50-year-old versus 65-year-old, the 50-year-old will have more leverage than the 65-year-old. That individual, the 65-year-old, is going to be forced to work longer and harder, maybe a bit more painful to them. So retiring early to do something less challenging is still the ideal goal, but a lot of individuals may be forced to work harder, which goes back to staying healthy, keeping the body in shape, just in case. Employment satisfaction. I think a lot of employers are going to choose a younger, healthier, fitter person over a 60-something-year-old close to retirement individual any day now. And this is very true in my family. My mom and my dad were cases like that. Also my mom. They just replaced them because there's younger people that don't know as much. I do think that they also take younger people because they have less experience, so they could kind of milk them and they would complain less and stuff. Whereas the older guys have a particular focus related to legalities, accounting, and stuff like that. So they know those ins and outs because they had to grow up doing them and learn them by themselves. So yeah, I guess they would want somebody that has more of a younger, fresher mental stimulation and a modern sense of accomplishment. Could be a strong reason as to why the retirement age could not really be something of a choice, but more of a forced thing. So let's consider this point number 6, that retirement could be forced upon. So forced retirements as opposed to a choice because, well, you're just not young enough and don't have those legs anymore. Cognitive and physical health. I mentioned this one before. I'll be brief on this. Staying healthy, staying fit, and being sharp. They're going to choose somebody that just has sharper brains. Again, this kind of fits into forced retirement as opposed to a choice that you could make. Therefore, staying young, fresh, and healthy. If you want to continue working, if you're in your 60s and 70s, like whatever, that is a great thing, actually. I actually support individuals like that because they are the ones that can show the younger generation how to do the job more efficiently. And they take a little bit of that old, a little bit of that new, combine it. That's for the new guys, obviously learning from these soon-to-be retirees. I think that's good to do. So they are paying attention to that. And that could also, it could affect your retirement. Overall, economic uncertainty. So generally, there's market volatility that's constant. I mean, this year, with a new presidency coming into the USA, the leader of the free world, that'll greatly affect the global marketplace. And economic fluctuations are almost certain in that case. So retirement savings, which is a huge financial bill on global markets, right? So working longer would obviously allow for more time to save, and that more time to save may give potential to recover in times of uncertainty or financial downturns. However, to ensure a more stable and effective retirement fund, one would either have to put in those extra hours in the office, or they have to be there. You have to be capable to put in those hours, provided that you are in the need for that very retirement fund. So that's more of the choice. Are you willing to stand those hours? Are you willing to put in those extra work? Are you willing to be more cognitively available? Are you willing to allow yourself to learn new things at those later ages, to be fresh on your feet and ready to contribute, right? Number 9, change in retirement benefits. So the traditional pension plans are becoming less common. So we are shifting towards the responsibility of retirement savings we're shifting from the responsibility of retirement savings to individuals. Therefore, the change necessitates more personal savings and investment, which may require additional years to achieve. Now, I had to read that one because that was a pretty particular one. So these changes obviously are going to rock a few people's bank accounts for sure. And the traditional pension plan, I don't know who said this not too long ago. I believe it may have actually been Donald Trump, where he mentioned that these pension plans they're not feasible anymore. A lot of these companies tend to pull out, and individuals' retirements tend to get lost. If I can find this one source, I remember I read over this a couple of years ago, of individuals' pension plans kind of just being siphoned out and used for other benefits that the company may need without the individual's approval or knowledge. So some of them that are ready for retirement and are actually ready to cash in don't have that money available. The pension fund doesn't have the money. So something to pay attention to. Again, comes back to cognitive ability to pay attention to the finances. I know a lot of individuals at that retirement age kind of just give it to wealth manager, and then they deal with all those finances. The 10th point, which could definitely prepare for future retirement readiness, is personal readiness, right? So just being ready, knowing when is the right time to retire, knowing what it is you would like to do when you retire. The point that I like to make again is, don't retire to stop doing and sit and do nothing. Retire, stop doing what you were used to doing, like working 30 years as an engineer or a finance director at a particular company, or even just a manager, right? 10, 20 years, you're in your 60s or something like that. In those interims, I always want people to find, other than their 9 to 5, a 5 to 9. 9 o'clock is 9 o'clock. You'll eat it sometime in between there, right? and you'll go to bed at the normal 10, 11 o'clock that I think we've all had to do our entire lives, especially when you're serious about doing something. I'd like to encourage people, again, if you are in the 60s watching this, I hope you do this. And if you are young watching this, I hope that you can entice those very people in your lives to do this, to find something that they love and start applying those things on the side so that come the day of their retirement, they have something to fall back on, something that they love, something that can really apply their time towards and make something feasible happen out of that. That's the only way to beat retirement, either forced or as a choice, where if you made a choice and you just were uncertain of the plan, how you're going to sustain yourself until 100 years old, you will have something to fall back on. And if you're forced into retirement, you take your retirement fund, you invest it into something that you want to do, and now you are living happy because, well, you're smart enough to put that into place. If this makes sense to you, and if you'd like to learn more, if you'd like to get more tips on this, I'll be sure to update this, definitely. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more tips related to bettering your life, I guess. I want to try and help as many people as possible of all ages. That's where our humanity lies. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.